All right, what's going on, you guys? We are back again. Hopefully this turns into something, and we are actually not sitting behind a table or a desk talking to a camera. We're actually going to attempt to get out and do something, and that by do something I mean we're going to go fishing. So here's the deal. I ran across a day off, so I left it off so that I could go out and try to film something for you guys. I had some stuff to take care of early this morning. It's already almost 9 o'clock. And I've got dinner plans later this evening / tonight, so I cannot fish all day. I still, right now, hooking this boat up, don't even know where exactly we're gonna go or what the game plan is, but we're gonna just try and get out there and do something. It's been August, and what I mean when I say that, it's been very hot. The fishing's been very hot or cold. It's been, you know, in the 90s every day, slick as glass and hot, or it's been very windy, which it's been changing every day. I mean, the water's been warm, the air temp's been warm, but the conditions have changed each and every day, which has been making the fishing a little bit difficult. Like I said, hot and cold. One day we absolutely blast them, big numbers and big fish, and the next day you're lucky if you get 2 bites, and that's the God's honest truth, guys. So yesterday we smashed them. We only fished like 4 hours, and we caught an 8, a 6.5, a couple of 4s. And of course, the day I get off, we get a cold front in April. As you guys can see, it is bluebird as can be. It's blowing out of the north. It's not blowing as hard as I thought it was going to, but now it's probably going to start because I'm getting ready to get on the water. So I really don't know what we're going to run into today. These are the worst conditions you can ask for. These are horrible conditions in December, let alone in April, when these fish are kind of getting into that summertime mode, and now they get hit with a cold front. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is even going to turn into anything. We don't have all day to fish, so I'm going to stop talking to the camera. I'm going to throw a couple more rods in the camera box in the boat, and we're going to head to the boat ramp. I still have absolutely no idea even what ramp we're going to put in at, but I'll see you guys on the water. All right, we made it to the ramp. We're going to launch here out of Harney Pond because the fish that I'm going to attempt to catch are kind of right around the monkey box, and some of them are down on the shoal. So I figured to drive up here, that way we can kind of be running with the wind on the way down instead of running all the way up here from Clewiston and getting our teeth pounded in, because it's blowing pretty good. I think it's blowing dead north. It might have a little bit of west in it, but it's supposed to switch out of the east. And any of you that fish this lake regularly know, like, when this wind gets inside of this dike, it really does some funny stuff. So I just came up here. Boat ramp's not too crowded. There is like 20 spray rigs out here, which their guidelines say they can't spray in wind more than like 15 mile an hour, and it's blowing sustained 20, but that's none of my business. So yeah, it's cold. It's like 68 degrees and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. It is, like I said, bluebird as it gets, windy, high pressure, the absolute worst conditions I could ask for on a day off. But anyway, it's gonna feel good. I get to go fishing, fish for probably 4 hours or so, and we'll kind of just walk you guys through the day. So I'm gonna head to the boat, and I'll see you when we get to the first spot. Not a big one, just all post-spawn males. God, it's got a fish out there. Getting a few bites. I don't know how many bites that is today. I think 3. But it's definitely slow, but we got another 2.5 hours to fish. Hopefully we can run into a big one. 2 on the swim jig so far and 1 on our frog. That's a little better. You know what's crazy? It's a biggin. I had a customer catch this same fish on last Thursday with that sword right there. I mean, I think it's a coincidence that they has a sore on the exact same side. Maybe it's not the same fish. I don't know, but she's alive and healthy. She crushed that swim jig. Good one. I know you're facing into the sun, but kind of rough where I left them last night. It's almost like they're kind of either staging or leaving or coming in. I don't know. It's like we were catching them in the back, and now I'm kind of in the mid-range stuff, and that's 2 bites pretty quick, close together. Catching fish. There's nothing of. Only got that 1 big one, but real quick, this is not my setup. I'll probably do one on this later, but I kind of switched up my frog rod actually yesterday. I picked this up. So a lot of you know I was throwing my frog for forever on the Arc Invoker or the Essence, either one, the 7.4 mag heavy. And that was probably one of the most popular frog rods on the lake for a while, and still is. It's a really stout rod. It's really great for getting them out of the thick stuff and everything, but I wanted to experiment a little bit. I wasn't necessarily ever losing fish on it, but when it came to making pinpoint, really accurate casts to more sparse cover, it didn't have as good of a tip, so I wasn't as accurate. And then with it being so stiff, I had times like where a fish that big, a 2-pounder, may have been a big deal in an event. And sometimes you'd set the hook on the fish and it was almost like too stiff and it would rip the fish out of the water and cartwheel and the fish would come off. So this is actually a 7.3 mag medium heavy. It's the same rod, but a 7.3. Or no, this is an Essence 7.3 mag medium heavy. The rod I was using was a 7.4 mag heavy Essence. It's, a lot of you might pick it up like this is way too limber to you know, throw a frog on, but that's like my 15th fish on it so far over the last 2 days, and I haven't lost a single one. You could really reel into the fish, like you probably saw I did there. I was looking at the camera when the fish ate, let the rod load and pull into them, and it's just, I could be more accurate. It's a lighter rod, and it doesn't fatigue me as much throwing it. So still experimenting, but so far I do like it. Plenty of little ones. Well, maybe they did want the swim jig. A little better one. He came up and smashed it. I hope I can. The way she boiled it, I thought she was going to be a big one. They're not big, they're fun. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for us here today. We fished for right about 3 hours, so it wasn't on fire by Okeechobee standards, but we did catch a few fish and one good one, so I had fun, can't complain, especially given the conditions we were dealt with today. You could see there's still not a cloud in the sky. And what's funny is when I got out here, the wind was blowing northwest, northwest, had a little bit of west in it. And about 45 minutes ago, the wind switched out of the northeast like it was supposed to do, and I haven't had a bite since that happened. No activity. There were a few other boats in the area. Never saw any of them get another bite or catch a fish afterwards. No, not hearing any fish bust or anything or move on the bait. So did it have anything to do with it? I really don't know, but I would think it did for whatever reason. You know, I try to preach to my customers all the time about how sensitive these bass are on Okeechobee. I mean, the slightest weather change can either make them go crazy and bite, or can just make them shut down entirely. So I think the little wind switch may have, you know, put a damper on things, but there's really no way to tell. I don't know why these bass are so fickle down here, but they are. You know, I always say if our water temperature drops 3 degrees, that's a deal breaker. You know, that's going to be a slow day of fishing. So sensitive fish, especially when you get hit with a cold front in April, that's never fun. But I thought we'd catch another couple big fish, which is why I came out here today. We left some big fish here yesterday guiding, but I think these fish are, that's just been the name of the game on this lake. It's either hard on, hard off. They're either in and they're chewing, or they pull out and, you know, they're sitting on the outside edge where you just really can't fish, especially on a day like today when it's blowing this bad. So the big fish are here. It's just all about timing lately. And you know, when it comes down to what we did today, I brought every rod. I didn't know what exactly we were going to get into. I thought we'd catch some fish flipping some mats, which I tried when I first got out here, never had a bite. It came down to just 2 things, a swim jig and a popping frog. So you know, yesterday, or man, this funny enough, this exact frog has caught a ton of big fish on my boat here lately. You can see, I mean, this thing is, you know, scarred to pieces, or beaten to pieces, I should say. And trying to think, like the other day, it was, we had 2 really good days on this bait. I had a trip where my customers had 30 pounds, maybe I think over 30 pounds. And then the following day, it was a little bit tougher, but the big fish were locked on beds. You could actually see them. And ended up catching a few good ones. I think we caught an 8 that day, along with a couple other 4s, a 6. So we had another really good day the next day. The next 2 days following that were god-awful. I mean, everyone around the lake was talking about how horrible it was. And then yesterday, being Monday, we, you know, we had a pretty good day. Like I said, we dodged rainstorms and the lightning, and it was a pain, so we barely really even got to fish. But we did catch 2 giants. We caught, you know, like one about 8 and one about 6. And it was funny. Yesterday, we caught small fish on the frog. We never got a big bite on the frog. Our bigger bites came winding with a swim jig. I think one actually came on a burner worm and the other one came on a swim jig. So when I got out here today, I definitely, you know, wanted to keep the swim jig honest, and we caught, I think, more fish and our big fish on the swim jig. Water was perfect. It was you could see a little ways, but it was stained. And I really like a swim jig when the wind's blowing. I say that all the time. And you know, today it showed out. Caught you know, a lot of fish on it. I love throwing this thing. It's the same one I usually always throw. Just, this is a Dirty Jigs No Jack swim jig, 1/2 ounce, black and blue. I put that Gambler Star Flash skirt on there. And so here's the deal, kind of a little tip for you guys, I guess. Maybe I've said it numerous times, I don't remember. I started off throwing a craw style bait on the back, but and I was catching some fish more on the outside, more in that dirtier water. But when I pressed to the back a little bit, the wind was still blowing in there really good, and I was fishing some thicker pads and some cleaner water. I went to that Gambler Little Easy in Gold Rush. You know, it's just got that 2-tone, it's that contrast with that June bug and what have you. And a couple things. One, I think when I'm fishing that cleaner water, the fish get a little bit of a better look at the bait. That more 2-tone-ish color, I think, is a little more natural. I don't know, I have more confidence in it and they get it. I think you get a couple more bites. But throwing it through the thick pads where there's chop grass slicked in there, that craw style bait's doing a lot of movement, and it's a bulkier bait, which means it catches more grass. It gets caught on the pads a little more. It'll pick up stray pieces of eelgrass, hydrilla, whatever, you know, pad stems that are just floating on top. where that swim bait just makes the bait track and come through the pads a lot easier. So beginning of the video, I believe my first few fish catches were on the crawl, and then I put on this little easy there and got some bites on that. And then the frog, like I said, I only caught a few fish on it, but these are not frogging conditions at all. I'm surprised I had a bite on this bait. Like I said, the bites we had yesterday were small, but in my opinion, the poppin' frog is probably the best big fish bait on Okeechobee. I've said it numerous times, but it is condition based a lot of times. Where this bait really excels, you need to have the perfect conditions, and today we did not have that, but we still caught a few fish. And I think I hinted at it also in the video. I kind of still experimenting with this new frog rod. It's a 7.3 mag medium heavy instead of a heavy, and so far, I mean, this is no BS. I really haven't missed a fish I've got a hook in, or I haven't lost a fish that I've hooked on this rod. So it was fun. Caught them literally on only 2 baits. I flipped mats, I pitched a jig, I threw a burner worm, I threw a spook, I threw a chatterbait and a big easy. I threw everything, and these were the only 2 baits I got bit on today. So that's just the way it is. And also, what's funny is this whole video was filmed in literally a 50-yard stretch. I just went back and forth in a little tiny area. I tell you guys all the time, if you find them, fish slow, because you can't catch them all. And you know, this is the same stretch I fished yesterday on my guide trip. So that's it. I'm gonna go put it on the trailer. Me and Breezy and the family are going to dinner tonight, and I'll be right back out here tomorrow. So hopefully I slow down a little bit enough where I can get out here and do some filming for you guys and actually go fishing for myself. But hopefully I don't slow down too much. But I appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought about the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one someplace, somewhere. Take it easy.